Today is the 17th day of September 2025. Welcome to Citizen News in Brief. My name is Wesley Borandi. Now we start with matters education, where lecturers in Kenyan public universities have commenced a nationwide strike today, demanding the full implementation of their collective bargaining agreement CBA arrears. The industrial action follows the government's failure to meet their demands even after they issued a 7-day strike notice last week. The lecturers accused the government of failing to implement the two CBAs, one from 2017 to 2021 to the tune of 7.9 billion shillings, and the 2022 to 2025 one to the tune of 2.7 billion shillings. They also fault the government for failing to negotiate the new CBA. The strike comes despite the release of 2.5 billion shillings by Treasury as partial settlement of the lecturers' arrears.
Here on 23rd of November, with an agreement over 3 phase payment. They lived up to phase 1. Phase 2 was supposed to be paid from the 1st of July. Yet again, the government has reneged. We as workers have been patient. This is going to be the 3rd month.
If that money is not paid, hawa wafanyikazi hawarudi wapi? Hawarudi. Then we have another cycle that has already taken off. The life of that cycle has started. The 2025-2029 CBA. This CBA, its life began on 1st of July 2025. It is yet to be negotiated, not even a comma. We gave our proposals years back. We called them to come on the table, let's engage. They have never given us any counter offer. They have never shown any interest at all. So what are we supposed to do? Strike. We must strike until the deal is sealed.
Staying with matters education, the Ministry of Education has so far uncovered more than 50,000 ghost students in secondary schools across the country as part of an ongoing national verification exercise. Appearing before the National Assembly Education Committee, Basic Education Principal Secretary, that is Julius Bitok, revealed that the audit has covered 17,400 out of the 32,000 schools nationwide. He further noted that the issue may not be limited to ghost students alone, as there are also concerns that some schools listed in government records may not exist at all.
We have found that more than 50,000 students so far were not there before. So about 50,000 so far, and we're in the middle of the process, almost 50,000. So you can be sure we shall unearth many other things. As to what decision we are going to do with the data, I think it will be very consultative with the stakeholders. But so far, in secondary, we have discovered that the numbers are not agreeing, so to speak. There are quite a number of students who have been put in secondary.
Now, President William Ruto and his deputy, Professor Kithure Kindiki, have urged the coastal residents to ignore the opposition noises, describing them as clueless. Speaking during a development tour of Mombasa County, President Ruto assured the residents that his development record will earn him a second term in office come the 2027 general election. The President commissioned the Mombasa Commuter Railway as well as the inspection of the Nyali Affordable Housing Project. Take a look.
Ndio sababu tumeungana, tunaelewana? Ndio tumeunganisha tukawa na serikali ya broad-based ambayo inawajumuisha Wakenya wote, kwa sababu ya muhimu, sio mashindano ya kisiasa, sio malumbano ya kisiasa, sio mambo ya mirengo. Ya muhimu ni vile tutabadilisha Kenya, tuondoe umaskini, tuzalishe chakula ya kutosha, tufukuze njaa, tuzalishe nafasi za ajira wa vijana wetu wa Kenya, tuzalishe uchumi Kenya, tuondoe umaskini, tuwe na utajiri, Kenya iweze kusonga mbele.
Mheshimiwa Rais, umetusaidia tuwe na taifa moja. We are grateful for helping Kenya to be a united country under God, one nation, one people. And our ethnicities, our religions should not defeat the project of creating a united Kenya, na hiyo ndio inafanya hao wananchi waseme 2 term. Ama namna gani? Muko kwa 2 term? Mombasa muko kwa 2 term?
Now, Interior National Administration Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen says Kenya and Uganda are finalizing a cooperation pact recently signed to resolve the Lake Victoria boundary disputes, which have led to arbitrary arrests and confiscation of fishing gears. Responding to complaints from fishermen over their plight in the hands of Ugandan security personnel manning Lake Victoria in Western and Nyanza regions, CS Murkomen, who is presiding over the Jukwaa Usalama Security Baraza, said plans are underway to set up a patrol base in Usenge Beach, which will work closely with Muhuru Bay and Isebania posts through a multi-agency team led by Kenya Coast Guard Service.
So with a closer collaboration, I think we should be able to get rid of that issue, because the so-called charges are bribes, actually, that are being solicited by those law enforcing agencies who have gone rogue. And I think as the two countries, neither Kenya nor Uganda encourages those kind of practices of corruption, and we must deal with them jointly through the joint cooperation framework.
In other news now, the Kenya Electricity Generating Company, that is KenGen, is planning to increase wind power generation in Marsabit County by additional 200 megawatts as part of efforts to meet the country's increasing electricity demand. Speaking from Olkaria, Naivasha, ahead of a 3-day Sustainable Development Conference, KenGen Managing Director Peter Njenga said that electricity demand in the country is rising, with hydro and geothermal sources leading in power generation.
We are working closely with our sister organization, Geothermal Development Company, where we have the first right of refusal for the steam that they drill, and they are very active in Menengai, and we have agreed that the next 20 megawatts that they are going to get from Menengai, it is us as KenGen who are going to develop the power plant to generate 200 megawatts from Menengai. And we are looking forward, perhaps in the next 10 years, to ensure that we have 100% green energy in our system.
As NTSA, we have been working hand in hand with KenGen to support road safety awareness, to make sure that we sensitize our public and especially schools on need for road safety and understanding on the need that are there to safeguard us while using our roads.
Residents of Ololoitikoshi village in Kajiado East staged a procession to protest alleged failure by Oli Air Park management to honor agreement reached with the community. The Maasai community says the management of the airstrip has failed to implement safety measures, including erection of a fence around the airstrip. The community says it has not benefited from the facility, not even employment for the locals, despite being there for 25 years now. The Airstrips Board says the concerns will be addressed once funds are available.
Tumekuja kusema ya kwamba hiyo runway ifunguliwe.
Airport runway isiposongeshwa hakutakuwa na safety ya landing na flying na take off. Isipofanywa hivyo hakutakuwa na kazi na hakutakuwa na training inaendelea.
Wanamkataza na watoto wetu wanafundishwa hapa ndege, kuendesha ndege hapa. Wanafundishwa mechanic hapa. Wazungu wao wametufundisha nini?
Nothing. This is a private company and we have to respect it's a private company, but we will engage with them as much as possible in the soonest time possible to make sure we get a resolution.
Vile mkubwa amesema tu, we shall follow that.
A major Pan-African youth program has been launched to tackle youth unemployment across 10 African countries, including Kenya. The African Youth Pathways to Resilience and Systems Change, known as IPRESS program, is spearheaded by the Partnership for African Social and Governance Research, PASGR, and the Mastercard Foundation. The program will run for 3 years, focusing on job creation, promote youth innovation and inclusion of marginalized groups.
For individuals,
the objective of the session is basically to listen to youth and understand their aspiration and their ambition as we try to deal with the issue of youth unemployment which is a problem not only in Kenya, but across Africa and in the world. So at the heart of our approach is listening, because we realize that we have a very diverse population.
Kenya's future equally lies in the hands of our tech-savvy youth, the digital natives fluent in artificial intelligence and innovators. The youth are expected to drive the technological advancements, address critical societal issues, and shape a more inclusive and prosperous future for all.
Kama mimi mlemavu, naweza sema dignified and fulfilling work ni kazi yenye uko comfortable, yenye unapewa respect, yenye unatambulika, na yenye pia umekubalika kuifanya. Lakini kwa Kenya sasa siku hizi mahali kwingi hatutambuliki kama sisi walemavu, kama tunaweza fanya kazi vizuri na ionekane kama tumefanya.
Let's cross borders now to Malawi, where vote counting is underway as Malawians wait to know their next president. The election is a two-horse race between the current president, that is Lazarus Chakwera, who is seeking a second term, and 85-year-old Peter Mutharika, whom he beat in 2020. Thousands of citizens queued in more than 15,000 polling stations in hopes to effect change in a country swamped by economic troubles. In his campaign, President Chakwera pledged to fix Malawi, which for a long time has faced nationwide power outages, fuel shortages, among other major challenges. Now, if no candidate wins more than half of the votes in a race that also involves the country's only female head of state, Joyce Banda, among 15 other candidates, the top two contenders will head for a runoff. Voting is still ongoing in areas that experienced delays.